Toy Domination just hit 1,000 subscribers, so pretty much rock stars at this point, pretty much YouTube sensations. I'm expecting my silver little triangle at any day now. Let me start by saying thanks to everyone who subbed and continues to watch and jumps on our live shows and reaches out on IG. Thank you very much, because honestly, that 1,000 accomplishment is nothing without you. I'm doing something a little different for this video. It's gonna be my face talking to the camera. I usually don't do that because I just assume people don't want to see me, they want to see like this thing that I'm doing. In this video, I'm going to cover the top 10 things I've learned as a noob action figure YouTuber. The number one, spoilers, is support. And stay to the end because I'm going to cover that one in length and is definitely the most important and the biggest lesson I learned since I've started whatever this thing is here. I'm going to try and sit still. I'm going to try and sit just in front of this camera and not jump off with goofy bits. Well, it's about time. What do you think you are, a sketch comic? I subbed here to listen to action figures, not see dumb jokes. Well, that didn't last very long. But again, I just am not used to just talking at the camera. That's not really what I do for this channel. Usually I have a guest, or usually I'm showing a thing. If you want to see more of me, if you want to actually see like Dom, just sit in front of the camera and talk about a subject, I can do that. There's plenty of channels that are successful at that. I just don't know that that's the right format for this one, but hey, we're gonna give it a shot. Maybe you'll learn something out of this, and maybe I'll learn something to just sit still in front of a camera. So the content of this video is actually gonna be twofold. It's gonna be part thanks and recognition to the community we've actually built and all the followers and friends that we've made along the way. And the second part will be a top 10 list, which will apply whether you're just starting on YouTube or you've got a big channel and you want to refine and tweak some stuff. So let's get into that top 10. The first things you should start out knowing is your why. I don't want to get all Simon Sinek philosophy here, but you'd think that it'd be a lot easier than it is. For example, I know why. I want to talk about action figures on YouTube. Duh. Yeah, okay. But you could do that same thing by joining a Facebook group and trolling the comments there. You could be part of a community, a Discord. You could just watch other videos. You could guest. But why are you going to put yourself and your content out there for scrutiny and criticism? What is your driving factor to make you do that? You've got to be able to answer that. Why am I doing these things? If you know why you're doing something, you can use it as a compass, and that'll help guide you and motivate you through all the slumps, because there are a lot of slumps. This is just after like a year or so doing this, it's already felt like a roller coaster. Whenever you start losing subs, whenever people don't comment, whenever you work for hours on editing a piece of content which you are sure is really good, and you put it out there, and the only comments you get are, "Do you even know about Star Wars?" So knowing your why helps you focus on your path. It also helps you focus your content so you're not scattered all over the place. Why am I doing this? One of the reasons why I started doing this is because I wanted to be able to talk to my best friend who lives on the other side of the country from me, sometimes in different countries from me, and I want to be able to talk about action figures and toys. It's the same thing we would do in text or via the phone infrequently that we could talk. Hey man, did you see? Hey, I just got... And we're like, you know what? It'd be great if we actually did this in recording because we're both kind of entertaining people, and at the very least, you and I will be able to talk. So that was one of the whys. The other why, we were still trying to figure that out. So what else did I want to do with this? And what it came down to was a very inspirational channel of G.I. Joeberg. The fact that they're able to just put themselves out there, play with action figures and record it and put it up and make some quality content, I was like, that's what I want to do. I'm a storyteller at my core. I want to start being able to show creativity, like making projects, building a huge ship, and storytelling. I'm still going through that journey on the best ways for me to be able to do that. Because again, my why may be different from theirs. I'm not just G.I. Joe focused, but knowing your why will help you guide your content and make you feel secure about, this is what I want to be able to produce, so I'll put my heart into this. The reason why this is important is because you only have so many hours during the day. Life, unfortunately, still has demands as you pick up this other demanding hobby. So, do you want to do toy hunting videos? Do you want to do toy reviews? Do you want to do streams? Do you want to do some sort of a collaboration project? If you're starting out, pick maybe one or two of those things. Get rolling on those. I want to do toy hunting videos and I want to do reviews. Great. Start there, then branch off. But my recommendation is focus in on something to save yourself time. Don't worry about viewers, don't worry about subs, anything like that, but focus on what you're doing now, especially as you're figuring out this game. And here's a bonus tip too. Don't compare yourself to other channels that seem to be doing all that stuff. You don't know what their life is like. They could just be, I don't know, getting free paychecks every month and not having to do anything. So they can do nothing but toy hunts, toy reviews, toy news, building giant dioramas. They could be doing anything. You don't know what their life is like. So understand what your limits are. Don't compare yourself to other channels. You don't have to do what they're doing. In fact, if you do one thing really, really, really well, that can overcome anyone who's doing 10 things pretty good. All right, so this next one is something that I'm still currently struggling with. So future Dom, reach back in the comments and be like, hey, here's the answer to this one. We did decide to do this. That would really help me out. Do you diversify and cover all toys, any lines, anything, comics to toys, to wrestling, to movies, to pop culture, and just dump it all on your channel? Or do you single out one niche and just zero in on that one? Here's some examples, and these are just a few. Our friend Eric at channel No You Grow Up, he focuses on Ninja Turtles. It's great. When I want to learn about Ninja Turtle stuff, hear about Ninja Turtle stuff, whoosh, that's the source I go to, because I know I get to learn about Ninja Turtles and I don't have to be like, oh, this week it's X-Men. This week it's Mythic Legions, whatever it is. I know that's my Turtles content and I'm good to go. So as a viewer, that satiates my turtle need. And then if I need G.I. Joe, I can go somewhere else who's just G.I. Joe focused. Niche could work out for you. It also helps drive your viewers to say, hey, I just want to know G.I. Joes, and it's a community of G.I. Joes like common interests. That can help that gain momentum as well. The downside is that if you don't diversify, you could end up pigeonholing yourself. Again, going back to your why. I want to talk about this one subject. Oh, but I also really want to talk about comic books. But I'm not a comic book channel. So when you start splitting off from that niche, you could potentially start showing a downtrend. People didn't come here to watch about comic books. They want to know about that one in particular subject that you have focused on. You'll see this with big channels too. Geek Dad Life and Geek Dad Life 2. Secret Galaxy and Dan Larson. They've seen that their algorithms react differently when they have different content, but they still want to talk about that stuff. So they just create another platform, and that helps feed those algorithms and those audiences there too. I can't imagine juggling 2 YouTube channels because one and my IG is enough. So that may be a bit more. So that's up for you to decide whether you diversify and you just want to, hey, I want to cover all things. It doesn't matter. And you'll cast a wider net and slowly bring people underneath that umbrella. But be aware that conversely, people may seek out those niche topics and just want to kind of just grab a bowl of popcorn and binge on some G.I. Joe. This next bullet can't stand alone, so don't forget about that number 1 with using your support network. This bullet will be covered more in depth on the number 1. This next one is collaborate. So I'm gonna need you to stop, collaborate, and listen. All right, I promise I won't do that again. So this is a lesson I learned from Adam over at Go Figure. When you're collaborating, don't just reach up to big channels because they're big. Those audiences and those fans may not be your same fans that you want. It may not be the culture and the community that you want to have subs and bring into your channel under your banner. I thought that was pretty smart. And when I started looking at the comments or some of the feedback or some of the topics on the larger channels, not all, just some in particular, I was like, huh, you're right. I kind of don't want that over here. And also the topics too. I'm like, I don't really care about those subjects at all. So even though this channel has uber amounts of subs, I don't have anything in common with this person. And it's really hard. The algorithm is working against you. You're just down here. And so the more exposure you get, you kind of break that algorithm, which pushes your content out more. I get it. And I feel the same way. Like, I'm not saying don't reach out to big channels. What I'm saying is reach out to the ones whose audience, topics, or their personality, and that's probably the most important piece, you think you would enjoy having a cup of coffee or a beer with this person. That's the channel you should solicit. That's the channel you should try and reach out to. You should try and actually build a friendship and not just, I don't know, star chase. I think that one lesson has allowed me to make a lot of friends on YouTube, which honestly, that is something I never expected to happen. And I'm going to Joe Fest here pretty soon, and I get to actually meet these people, IRL as the kids say, and I'm looking forward to that. That's really exciting to be able to see peepers, and that's really exciting to me. I get to see peepers. That's what I did in the outtakes. I said peepers. I don't know what's wrong with me. You can have a lot of fun with this, and if you're doing this with people that you normally would gravitate to anyways, or heck, they might even surprise you, it just makes a better experience. This next one might seem like a no-brainer, but I definitely didn't do this when I started out. If you want to make action figure content on YouTube, you should probably watch action figure content on YouTube. I thought I was watching action figure content. It wasn't until I actually started this and putting content out there and seeing other artists, I was like, oh, there's a lot more here than I was aware of. I am still woefully ignorant on all the channels and subjects and IG and everything else that's out there, but it's really fun to discover those along the way. So go find the channels that do the best at the content that you want to produce and actually study them. Go look at how, if they script or if they just go ad lib. Be careful with that one because sometimes it comes down to personality. See if they're using like a little turning table thing for the reviews. Are they investing in lights in order to show off the action figures, or are they just holding up in front of the camera? What are all the technical details that you can pull away on how they're doing something? But it's a double-edged sword too. There's a lot of copycats out there. And if you want to stand out, you've got to take some of the things that the best of what other people are doing and add the you flavor into it. Just sprinkle you onto it. Like some sort of weird human dust topping. I don't know what that would be. And no surprise to no one, this next bullet point is going to be completely hypocritical to what I just said. Don't watch huge action figure YouTubers. Now I know what you're thinking. Dom, that's a really mean, hurtful thing to say. And of course you're going to say that, you spiteful little jerk, because you're a small channel and you want people to watch your content. I'm not saying they don't work hard. I'm not saying it's great content. I sub to those channels and watch them weekly as well. What I'm saying is that channels that were created 10 to 12 years ago in an environment that isn't oversaturated like it is today with new accounts popping up left and right had a distinct advantage. They were able to cultivate followings relatively in a vacuum. Again, I'm not taking away from these channels. Please don't read it as that. But what they were able to do then and how they've grown their channels and grown their community will not work for you now. There's too much other stuff out there. The environment has changed. Also, the large channels have habits that they have adopted that probably won't work for you, right? This can be seen in any type of profession. The people who are more veterans have shortcuts or habits they do that if noobs jumped in and tried to do it, they'd lose an arm. You might lose an arm on YouTube, so fair warning. For example, a large account could put out a thumbnail with a giant close-up blurred image of a bloodshot eye, and then the title could just be "Yummy Bummy in My Tummy." And people will watch that because they're followers. All right, to be fair, I might actually watch that too. Note to self, make thumbnail with bloodshot eye, title "Yummy Bummy in My Tummy." But if you're a newer channel and you try and do that same video with that same thumbnail, most likely it's gonna get buried like that pair of underwear in your backyard that you had a wet fart in and you're ashamed of. Here's the videos I do recommend you start watching. How to make a YouTube video, how to edit a YouTube video, how to make a thumbnail, how to stop counting on your fingers. These are the videos that'll help you get the skills to make your product look very professional, like these bigger channels, who have been able to spend the last decade refining and tweaking and honing their craft to make a very polished product. But just looking on the surface, you don't know how to actually do those things. You can't look at a well-oiled machine and be like, oh, I can just do this. You've got to understand the mechanics in it. And just so you're aware, I'm not a well-oiled machine. I am a big old kettlebell that's been dropped into the pool and is expected to swim. That's currently the status of the channel. Here comes the bullet no one's gonna want to hear. Depending on your why, you're gonna have to work hard. I know, it stings, it's horrible. Nope. I get it. But if you have a why that you want to share your work, that you want your voice to be heard, that you want to build a community, that you want your whatever to be showcased, you gotta work at that. That means promoting it. That means being on social media. That means editing. That means curating your content. That means finding like-minded individuals. That means actually working at what you're doing and showing people why your stuff is worth watching. And sure, there's been successful content out there where the people didn't have to work. They mumbled through the whole time. Their camera's jumping around like this where they're holding their phone in their hand. There's two cats mating in the background. I can barely hear the guy. I get it, you know, that exists out there too, but is that what you want associated with your name? I don't know. That's up to you. It's up to your why also. I will say though, if you don't put in the extra time, your stuff's not going to get anywhere. This next one we kind of assumed when we started the channel, and as we kept growing, developing, we realized, no, this is a fact. And it boils down to a simple concept of don't be a wangrod. What's a wangrod? Well, it's the kind of petulant, spoiled, angry YouTuber, basically the version of the Simpsons comic book shop guy. Don't be that. I don't know what happened, but my left hand started going tingly and numb. I think it was just keeping it too low down here. All right, so this next one I almost bundled with the number 1, but I decided to break it out and bucket it and look at it individually. And that's your community, specifically how you're cultivating your community. And I don't know if this is a surprise to you now, but if you put your stuff up on YouTube and you start getting followers and friends who are showing up and leaving comments and wanting to follow your stuff, that's your community. And their comments are a direct reflection, I believe, of what content you're putting out there. If you're being negative and hostile, you're probably going to see that same hostility reflected in the comments. People tearing apart each other, being negative, or just trolling or whatever. That's my theory. Again, I've only 1,000 subs, only been doing this for about a year, so what do I know, right? I will know that my community is awesome, and that every time I feel like canceling a stream or not putting up a video and doubting myself or just feeling exhausted, when I start seeing people showing up to our live shows, my energy goes up through the roof, because people are showing up to see and talk to us and respond and just give feedback, and it's awesome. And not even if they're not talking directly to me and they're talking amongst themselves, it's overwhelmingly positive, supportive, checking each other's stuff out, recommending things. It's great. It has absolutely become one of the influences to my why. Why am I doing this? Well, because I've got this awesome community of supporters and friends, and I want to keep that going, and I don't want to disappoint them. And I can't wait to see where this goes in another 1,000 subs or another year. This one definitely deserves to be at the top spot, and it's the one that surprised me as we've continued to grow this channel, and it is your support network. You can't go it alone. What this means is it's not just the people who are following you or leaving comments or views, it's the people that you're actually establishing a relationship as you're going along with building your channel or putting out content. It's not just a matter of creating a chat and sending links to be like, hey, go check out my video and I'll go check out yours. It's not what I'm talking about. That is collaboration at one level. What I'm talking about is actually having the personalities, the people that are following you, that you are following them, and having conversations that's not directly tied to either of your content. Man, my job sucked. Hey, how's your daughter doing? Guys, go check out this thing over here. Look at this fire meme. That's the kind of stuff that I was surprised to be able to have. I've got some really good friends that I've established while building this channel. I didn't think that was a going in goal. I didn't think that was something you can happen. And man, I am really thankful for it. There are a lot of people, too many lists here. I'll just start putting some names on the screen throughout this video, but I've learned so much from these people, and I've been able to have sounding boards to be like, hey, how are you supposed to approach this situation? Hey guys, I don't know about this next thing I'm supposed to do. Hey, I'm feeling this. Hey, work sucks. Being able to have those people is critical to your success. You can't go it alone. I'm really thankful for all the friends that I've made along the way. I'm really thankful for anyone that I've been able to guest onto their show every time I learn something from these other channels. So it is awesome. I love this environment. I am so motivated to keep going. And thank you all for any of the engagement you give. It's been overwhelmingly positive. You send me DMs, you join Discord, you look at videos, you actually help give feedback on some of the products that can make it better. And it's just a better experience for me. And I'm charged to make sure that we have more entertainment and better products coming out for you. And I just really appreciate it. That's it. That's the video. 1,000 subs. Those are the top 10 things I've learned while doing this over the year. If you disagree with some of them, drop a comment. If I learn the wrong lesson, show me the right way. I'm looking forward to learning more lessons for the next 1,000 or next year, whichever milestone comes first. This has been really fun, and I can't wait to put out videos. Thank you so much to everybody for following. Thank you for commenting. Really appreciate it.